You thought time would fix this. You thought distance would silence it. You told yourself, it's over now. And for a while, it almost felt true. But then, out of nowhere, they come back. Not in your life, but in your chest, in your thoughts, in that quiet moment when everything slows down and you can't distract yourself anymore. And suddenly, it feels like nothing ended at all. You don't even want them the same way anymore. So why does your heart still respond? Why does something inside you still hold on, like it's not finished? This is the part no one talks about. The part where it's not about them anymore, but something deeper inside you, something unresolved, something unseen. And once you finally understand what that is, you won't just move on. You'll finally let go in a way that sets you free. 1. You didn't lose them. You lost the version of you that felt alive with them. It feels like you miss them. That's what your mind keeps telling you. But sit with it. Just for a moment, slow down, look deeper. Because it's not just their voice you remember. It's not just their presence you feel. It's something much quieter, much deeper than that. It's how you felt when you were with them. Lighter, like something heavy inside you had finally been lifted. Warmer, like your heart had found a place where it could rest. More alive, like your life had color again. Like suddenly, things made sense. You smiled differently. You spoke differently. Even your silence felt different. There was a version of you that only existed in that space. A version of you that felt seen, felt chosen, or felt like you finally mattered to someone. And maybe that version of you felt closer to who you always wanted to be. Then one day, they left, and with them, that version of you slowly disappeared too. Not all at once, but piece by piece. The laughter faded, the excitement faded. That light feeling inside you faded. And now, you're left with this quiet emptiness, this strange feeling that something is missing. And you keep thinking, it's them. I miss them. But the truth is, you miss how you felt when you were with them. You miss who you became around them. That's what hurts the most. Because now it feels like, without them, that version of you is gone forever. So every time your mind goes back to them, it's not just remembering a person, it's trying to return to that feeling, to that version of you that felt complete, even if it was temporary. That's why it's so hard to let go, because it doesn't feel like you're just letting go of someone else. It feels like you're letting go of a part of yourself and your heart. It doesn't want to accept that. It keeps pulling you back, not because you need them, but because you haven't yet found that version of yourself again, on your own. And once you understand that, something begins to change, because now it's no longer about getting them back. It's about finding yourself again. Not the version that depended on them, but a stronger version, a deeper version, a version that still feels alive, even without them. 2. Your heart is still searching for the closure it never received. There's a reason your mind keeps going back. Not once, not twice, but again and again and again. And it's not because you're weak. It's not because you can't move on. It's because something inside you still doesn't feel finished. Think about it. The way it ended, was it clear? Did it truly make sense to you? Or did it just stop? Conversations left hanging, feelings left unspoken, questions that never found answers. And now those questions, They live inside you, quietly, constantly. What did I do wrong? Did they ever really care? Was any of it real? Your mind keeps replaying moments, every word, every silence, every small detail, trying to find something. Some clue you missed, some answer that will finally make it all feel okay. But no matter how many times you go back, you never find it. Because the truth is, you're searching for closure in a place where it no longer exists, and your heart, it doesn't know how to stop. It keeps hoping that one day it will make sense, hoping that one day you'll feel at peace about it. But here's what hurts the most. Closure didn't come when it should have. It didn't come with honesty. It didn't come with understanding. It didn't come with a proper ending. And because of that, your heart stayed open, still waiting, still trying to complete a story that was never properly closed. That's why you feel stuck, because a part of you is still there, in that unfinished moment, still trying to understand, still trying to accept, still trying to let go without ever being given a reason. But here's the truth most people avoid. Closure is not something they give you. It's something you create when you're ready to stop asking, when you're ready to stop going back, when you finally accept that not every story ends with answers. Some end with silence. Some end without explanation. And some end in a way your heart may never fully understand. But the moment you stop chasing those answers, the moment you stop looking for peace in what already ended, something inside you begins to settle. Slowly, quietly. Because now, you're no longer waiting for them to close the door. You're choosing to close it yourself. And that is where real peace begins. 3. You're not holding on to them. You're holding on to the feeling they gave you. Be honest with yourself. Just for a moment. Strip everything away. Forget their face, their voice, their name. What do you really miss? Is it them, or is it how you felt when you were with them? Because if you look closely, it wasn't just about who they were. It was about what they awakened inside you. The way your heart felt seen, without trying. The way you felt chosen, without asking. The way your presence felt enough, just as it was. There was a calm in you, a softness, a kind of peace you didn't have to fight for. And slowly, that feeling became familiar, comfortable, safe. You didn't just like them, you liked who you became around them. And that's where the attachment really began. Because now, your mind has linked that feeling directly to them. So when they left, it didn't just feel like losing a person, it felt like losing that feeling too. Like something inside you was taken away. And now, every time you think of them, your heart is not reaching for them. It's reaching for that feeling, that warmth, that sense of being enough, that quiet peace you didn't have to question. And this is where it becomes dangerous, because you start believing, I can't feel this again without them. That feeling only existed with them. So you hold on, not to the person, but to the memory of how they made you feel. And your mind keeps pulling you back, trying to relive it, trying to recreate it, trying to find it again in something that's already gone. But here's the truth that changes everything. They didn't create that feeling. They revealed it. That peace, that warmth, that sense of being seen, it came from within you. They were just the moment that brought it to the surface. And if it came from you once, it can exist in you again, without them. But as long as you believe, That feeling belongs to them. You'll keep going back. You'll keep holding on. You'll keep feeling like something is missing until you realize nothing was taken from you. You didn't lose that feeling. You just forgot that it was yours all along. And the moment you remember that, the attachment begins to loosen. Because now, you're no longer chasing a person. You're reconnecting with yourself. 4. You mistook intensity for meaning. And now it feels real. It felt strong. That's the part you can't ignore. It wasn't ordinary. It wasn't calm. It wasn't simple. It was intense. The emotions were deeper than anything you had felt before. The connection felt immediate, almost effortless. Everything moved fast, but it felt right, and because it felt that strong, you started to believe. This has to mean something. This can't be random. This must be special. But pause for a moment and ask yourself something honestly. Does something feeling intense always mean it's true? Or does it just mean it affected you deeply? Because intensity can come from many places. From longing, from loneliness, from timing, from finally being seen. After feeling invisible for so long, and when all of that comes together, it creates something powerful, something that feels real. But feeling real and being right are not always the same thing. That's the part most people never see. You felt something strong, so you gave it meaning. You gave it a story. You gave it importance. And now, even after it's gone, your mind refuses to let it go because it keeps saying, how can something that felt this real just end? How can something this deep mean nothing? So you hold on, you replay it, you protect it in your memory, because letting it go feels like admitting that maybe it wasn't what you thought it was, and that hurts. But here's the truth. Intensity can make something feel unforgettable, but it doesn't always make it lasting. Sometimes, intensity is just a moment, a powerful moment that was never meant to stay. And when you mistake that intensity for meaning, you turn a temporary experience into something your heart believes is permanent. That's why it feels so real, even now. That's why it still affects you, even after it's over. Because in your mind, it wasn't just a moment. It was something bigger, something important, something that was supposed to continue. But not everything intense is meant to last. Some things come into your life, not to stay, but to show you something, to awaken something, to teach you something about yourself you couldn't see before. And once that lesson is given, it ends. Even if your heart isn't ready for it, even if your mind keeps holding on. So what you're feeling right now is not proof that it was meant to be. It's proof that it was powerful. And there's a difference, a big one. And the moment you see that difference clearly, you stop holding on to the intensity as if it was meaning, and you start understanding it for what it truly was. 5. Your mind is rewriting the past to keep them alive in you. Have you noticed this? When you think about them, it never feels balanced. It never feels complete. Your mind doesn't show you the whole story. It shows you pieces, carefully selected pieces. The way they smiled, the way they looked at you, the moments that felt warm, easy, almost perfect. And for a second, it feels real again, like nothing ever ended. Like you could step back into that moment if you just held on to it a little longer. But pause, because something important is happening here. Your mind is not remembering, it's editing. It's choosing what to keep and what to hide. It softens the pain. It removes the confusion. It erases the moments where things didn't feel right. The times you felt unsure. The times you questioned things. With the times something inside you felt off, but you ignored it. Those parts, they fade away. Not because they weren't real, but because your mind is trying to protect you. It wants comfort. It wants familiarity. So it builds a softer version of the past, a version that feels easier to hold on to, and slowly, without you realizing it, you start believing that version is the truth. You start thinking, it was perfect. We were perfect. It could have worked. But that's not the full picture. That's a memory shaped by emotion, not reality. And the more you replay that version, the deeper the attachment becomes. Because now, you're not holding on to what actually happened. You're holding on to what your mind wants you to remember. And that's why it feels so hard to let go. Because how do you let go of something that feels so beautiful in your mind? How do you release something that feels so complete? Even if it wasn't, but here's the truth. If it was truly complete, you wouldn't feel this confusion. If it was truly right, you wouldn't be stuck trying to understand it. Real connections don't leave you questioning everything. They don't leave you rebuilding the past just to feel okay. So what you are holding on to is not the full reality. It's a softened version, a story your mind keeps replaying, so it doesn't have to face the emptiness that came after. And that's why they still feel alive inside you. Not because they are, but because your mind refuses to let the story end. And the moment you begin to see both sides, the good and the painful, the truth and not just the feeling, something starts to shift. Because now, you're not lost in a memory anymore. You're seeing it for what it really was, and that clarity is what finally begins to loosen the hold it has on you. 6. You're trying to move on without truly accepting it's over. You tell yourself you've moved on. You say the words, you act the part, you keep yourself busy. You try to fill your days so there's no space left to think about them. From the outside, it looks like progress. It looks like you're doing everything right. But deep inside, there is still a quiet resistance that hasn't gone anywhere. Because moving on is not something you prove with actions. It is something your heart quietly accepts, and your heart has not fully accepted it yet. There is still a part of you that pauses when your phone lights up, even if you don't admit it. A part of you that wonders, what if they come back? A part of you that hasn't completely closed that door, even if you've tried to walk away from it. That is why you feel this constant pull. Not because you are weak, but because something inside you is still holding a small space open for them. You may have stopped talking. You may have created distance. But emotionally, there is still a thread that hasn't been cut. And as long as that thread exists, no matter how thin it becomes, you will feel it pulling you back. This is where most people struggle, because they confuse distraction with healing. They think staying busy means they are moving on. They think time alone will fix everything. But time only heals what you are willing to accept, and distraction only delays what you are avoiding. The truth is, you are trying to move forward while a part of you is still standing in the past, waiting for something that may never come. Waiting for clarity, waiting for a message, waiting for something to change so that the ending feels easier to accept. But that moment may never arrive, and until you face that fully, your heart will remain divided. One part trying to move ahead, the other quietly looking back. Real acceptance is different. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It does not come with force. It comes as a quiet realization that settles deep inside you, where you no longer expect anything from them, where you no longer replay the what-ifs, where you no longer wait for a different ending. It is the moment when your heart finally understands what your mind has been trying to tell you all along, that it is over. Not temporarily, not uncertainly, but completely. And that understanding does not break you. It frees you. Because once your heart truly accepts it, the resistance fades, the waiting fades, the need to go back and check, to wonder, to hold on, slowly disappears. You stop forcing yourself to move on because you no longer need to. You are no longer divided between holding on and letting go. You simply release. And that release is not painful in the way you expect. It is quiet. It is steady. It is the moment you finally stop fighting reality and allow yourself to step fully into what is. Because the truth is, you were never stuck because you couldn't move on. No, you were stuck because a part of you hadn't yet accepted that it was time to. 7. You turned attachment into destiny. And that's why you're stuck at some point. Without even realizing it, you gave this connection a meaning it never clearly asked for. It started as a feeling, something emotional, something powerful, something that touched you deeply. But slowly, that feeling turned into a story. And that story became something you began to believe. You told yourself this is not ordinary. This is not random. This must be something more. And the moment you gave it that meaning, everything changed. Now it was no longer just about missing someone. It became about destiny, about something unfinished, about something that was supposed to happen, but somehow didn't. And once your mind creates that kind of belief, it becomes very hard to let go, because you are no longer holding on to a person. You are holding on to a purpose you think they have in your life. That is where you got stuck. Because now, every time you try to move on, your mind interrupts you with doubt. It whispers questions that pull you back in. What if this was meant to be? What if this is not over? What if you are walking away from something that was written for you? And those questions feel real because the feeling was real. But here is what you have to understand, and this is the part that most people avoid seeing. Not everything that feels deep is destiny. Not everything that stays in your mind is meant to stay in your life. Sometimes the reason it feels so strong is not because it is meant to continue, but because it affected you in a way you are not used to. It opened something inside you. It made you feel something rare. And because of that, your mind tries to protect it by giving it a bigger meaning. But that meaning can become a trap. Because once you label something as destiny, you stop questioning it. You stop seeing it clearly. You stop allowing yourself to move forward because you feel like you are betraying something important. So you stay. Not physically, but emotionally. You stay connected to a possibility that no longer exists. You stay attached to a version of the future that never actually happened. And the more you stay there, the more time passes, without you realizing that your life is waiting for you to move forward. This is the quiet trap of attachment turning into destiny. It keeps you hoping when you should be healing. It keeps you looking back when you should be stepping ahead. It keeps you emotionally tied to something that has already ended, simply because your mind refuses to accept that something so intense could have no deeper meaning. But sometimes the meaning is not in staying. The meaning is in what it showed you, what it revealed about your heart, what it awakened inside you, what it made you realize about yourself, your needs, your fears, your desires. That is the real purpose. Not to keep you stuck in it, but to help you grow beyond it. And the moment you begin to see that clearly, the story starts to lose its hold on you. Because now, you are no longer trying to hold on to it as something that must continue. You are able to see it as something that came, did its part, and ended. Not because it failed, but because it was complete in the way it was meant to be. And when you reach that understanding, something inside you softens. The need to label it as destiny fades. The need to keep it alive in your mind slowly disappears. Because now you are no longer asking, was this meant to be? You are understanding, it was meant to teach. And that shift is what finally allows you to move. 8. Allah is not showing you them. He's showing you what you haven't healed. You keep thinking this is about them, that somehow there is a reason they are still in your heart, that maybe this feeling means something is unfinished between you and them. But look deeper. What if this is not about them at all? What if the reason they keep appearing in your thoughts is not because they belong in your life, but because something inside you is still asking to be understood? Allah does not place something in your heart without a purpose, but that purpose is not always what you assume. Sometimes it is not about bringing someone closer to you. Sometimes it is about bringing you closer to yourself and closer to Him. Because if you are honest with yourself, this feeling did not just come from nowhere. It revealed something. It exposed something you may have ignored before. Your need to be chosen, your fear of being left, your attachment to feeling valued through someone else, your quiet belief that your peace depends on another person staying. These are not small things. These are deep parts of you that were hidden until this experience brought them to the surface. And now, instead of seeing that, you keep looking outward. You keep focusing on them instead of looking within. You keep asking, why them? Instead of asking, what is this showing me about myself? That is where the shift begins, because Allah is not keeping this person in your thoughts to confuse you. He is allowing this feeling to stay, so you can finally see what has been inside you all along. So you can recognize the parts of your heart that are still attached in unhealthy ways. So you can see where you have been placing your worth in the hands of someone else. So you can understand that your peace was never supposed to depend on another person. This is not punishment. This is awareness. This is guidance. Because sometimes the only way we notice what needs healing is when something hurts enough to make us look deeper. And that is what this is doing. It is pulling your attention inward. It is asking you to stop chasing what is gone and start understanding what is still within you. Because the truth is, if this person came back today without you healing these parts of yourself, you would fall into the same pattern again, the same attachment, the same dependency, the same fear. Nothing would truly change. That is why healing comes before anything else. That is why this feeling remains, not to keep you stuck, but to guide you toward growth, toward a stronger version of yourself, a version that does not lose peace when someone leaves, a version that does not depend on someone else to feel whole, a version that understands that what is meant for you will come with clarity, not confusion, with peace, not constant questioning, And when you begin to see it this way, everything shifts. Because now you are no longer asking, why can't I let go of them? You are asking, what is this teaching me about myself? And that question changes everything. Because now you are not stuck in the feeling. You are learning from it. You are growing through it. You are healing because of it. And slowly, without force, without pressure, without struggle, the attachment begins to loosen, not because you pushed it away, but because you understood it. And when understanding comes, release follows naturally. Because now you see clearly. Allah was never trying to bring you back to them. He was trying to bring you back to yourself. And once you reach that place, you will not feel pulled back anymore. You will feel guided forward, with clarity, with strength, and with a kind of peace that no person can take away from you. And maybe this is the part you were never meant to skip. Not the pain, not the confusion, but the understanding. Because all this time, you thought something was pulling you back. You thought it was them. You thought it meant something unfinished. You thought it meant something was still waiting for you. But now, you see it differently. It wasn't pulling you back. It was slowing you down, so you could finally look within. So you could finally see what you kept avoiding. So you could finally understand what your heart was trying to hold on to. And now, you don't feel the same urgency anymore. You don't feel that same confusion, because something inside you has become clear. You were never meant to stay attached. You were meant to become aware, to see the difference between love and attachment, between feeling something deeply and needing it to stay, between someone being part of your journey and someone being your destination. And once you see that, you don't force yourself to let go. You don't fight the feeling. You simply outgrow it, gently, quietly, without resistance. Because now you understand. What you were holding on to was not meant to complete you. It was meant to reveal you. And the version of you that comes after this is not broken, is not empty, is not lost. It is stronger. It is clearer. It is free from needing what was never meant to stay. So if you still feel something, if a part of you still remembers, that's okay. Let it be there. But don't let it control you anymore. Because now you know you're not being pulled back. You're being guided forward. And the moment you fully trust that is the moment you finally let go. Not because you lost something, but because you found yourself.